Dr. Reed, let me begin with you tonight. And I'm wondering how your mother would feel tonight if she got to watch Ketanji Brown Jackson take the oaths of office today.
Thank you for having me. And she would be ecstatic. She would be enjoying this moment with the three of us, with my daughter and her other granddaughter, my niece, and we would be admiring what the history that has been made. When I watched it earlier today, and then I'm watching it again just now, and I'm still feeling it.
Let me ask you about that night at the debate with your father. Now, I've never known of anyone using a commercial break in a debate to try to urge a candidate, someone who's not on the campaign staff anyway, to urge a candidate to take a position. Did you know that your father was going to run back there backstage and do that?
Absolutely not. We came for one reason and one reason only, and that was to watch the debate and see how things were going and how questions were being answered. And he just disappeared.
And when he came back, did he tell you what the mission was?
He did not. He did not. It wasn't, soon after that, now President Biden said what he needed to say, made the promise on stage, and we were all shocked yet delighted. And
Congressman Clyburn, you had that presence of mind to decide this is the moment. You'd been lobbying Joe Biden on this before that, but you saw that moment and you believed that this would not just be good for his campaign, but it was something that the country had to hear. What did it feel like for you when you were back in the chair and he actually said it?
Well, thank you very much for having me as well. Lawrence, that night was just surreal to me. I was very emotional for the last or previous 48 hours, and there we were sitting and waiting. And in the first half of that debate, it didn't come. And so I got up and excused myself. I was sitting with Bennett Thompson, that everybody's now gotten to know. And he asked, was I going to the restroom? And I said, yes. I didn't tell him what I was going to do. And I went backstage, and I beckoned to Joe Biden. And I urged him to please don't leave the stage tonight without making this commitment. I thought it was important to the American people. It's important to his candidacy. And today is a culmination of that. I think Joe Biden goes well. As you know, there was about a dozen African-American women under serious consideration. It got down to 3. And my choice was one of the other 2. But this is a good choice, a great choice. And I think that this country is going to be very, very proud of her.
We can never forget that when you did endorse Joe Biden, you invoked your late wife. It was as if she was present that day, the way you brought her into that room and into that endorsement. And so I was thinking of what you two would be saying to each other today if Emily were still with us.
Well, she was with us that night. Really, the day of the endorsement, the next morning, is really when it all came full circle. Because she had said to me 6 months earlier, she passed away 4 months before the endorsement, but she said to me that if we really wanted to win, we needed to nominate Joe Biden. And there I was talking with my daughters, telling them that I had to keep this promise, and asking them what they thought I needed to do. What did Joe Biden need to do? And this was one of those things that came up in that discussion. And so I was keeping a promise, and I was really carrying out a mission. And I think that if she were here tonight, she would not really be, she would rejoice, but not the way we do. Emily never did. She always sort of went off to herself to enjoy the moment. She did not participate a whole lot in bravado. She was a fun-loving person, but she was a little less emotional about these things than a lot of people are.
Dr. Reed, America is lucky that Jim Clyburn has the daughters he does as his senior advisors and lifetime advisors. Has he always been open to this kind of advice?
Yes, he has. We are a family. We sit around the table. We talk a lot about issues, about our troubles, our triumphs. So we have conversations about just about everything. And with the nomination, we knew that representation mattered a lot. And the representation just wasn't there. So it was an argument that the congressman had no answer for, because with representation comes a lot of buy-in, from every constituent, and we needed that.
Congressman Clyburn, Ketanji Brown Jackson has as difficult a job as a Supreme Court justice as anyone has ever had. She enters on the minority side of the court, just 3 of them on that side. It's 3 with 6 who can dominate all of the outcomes at the Supreme Court. What is your hope for Justice Jackson as she enters the court?
I'm very hopeful that she will stay true to her principles. I've read a lot about her background, her family. In fact, her father is a fraternity brother of mine. I did not know that before this whole effort. And I know the principles that we live by: friendship, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. If those things have been imparted to her, I would hope that she will stay true to her principles and maintain the kind of perseverance that her parents went through to get her to where she is today, and be able to carry that around the bench, around the table, when they are discussing issues. Carry the argument. That's the best that she can do. She can't make anybody do anything. But I do believe that every single human being, at least those with open minds, can be persuaded if you carry a good enough argument. She's well equipped to do it. I hope she maintains the willingness to do it as well.
When she was confirmed by the Senate, we were lucky enough that night to have all of her Harvard College roommates and law school roommates join us on this program. It was a remarkable discussion. Let's listen to Nina Simmons, one of Justice Jackson's roommates, and what she had to say about this.
It's so important. My grandson, my daughters, that they see this, that they saw this during my lifetime, their lifetime. Who knew?
Dr. Reed, you knew it was possible. What was your reaction to that?
It was amazing. I thought about my own daughter, who's entering her 4th year of medical school. Anything's possible. And Justice Jackson, let's say that again, Justice Jackson is a representation of what is possible for all Americans. So it was ecstatic. I know she's faced with challenges, yes, but she's also faced with a wealth of opportunity. And I know that she will grasp this moment and handle her business.